Hey everyone, welcome back. So today is our first day of online learning. So we're kind of we learned this on Friday on our last day of class, but because it's been quite a while, we're going to do a little recap. And then you guys will also have day 2 in Monday's assignment. So we did tree diagram. So this is focus 1 or day 1. Our warm up today is if we flip a coin twice, how many different outcomes are possible? Again, so we know that there's either the choice of heads, or tails when flipping a fair coin. That's an S. So we're going to start out when we make a tree diagram. We have the first flip, and then we also have our second flip. We're flipping it twice because it told us to flip it twice here. And then we'll have our outcomes over here. Okay, for the first flip, you can either get heads or tails, like how we had. And make sure you're leaving enough room in between. You'll see why if you go to make your tree diagrams and you're not leaving enough room, things are going to get kind of cramped. So I recommend spreading them apart as much as you can. Well, without taking up too much of the page, but then if we get heads on our first flip, for our second flip, you either can get heads again, or you can get tails. And the same goes for if you get tails. If you get tails on your first flip, it's not going to impact what you get on your second flip. So you can get heads or tails. Now our outcomes here. So this green line is referring to if you get heads first, heads second, so that's 2 heads. And then I'm going to do this black line here, represents if we get heads first and tails second. So heads, tails. Again, this should be if you were in class that one Friday, this should be kind of a review. So you can skip through this part if you're feeling pretty confident with it. And it just keeps going all the way through. And tails. So these are our 4 different outcomes here. In your homework, I'm pretty sure it calls it sample space. That's what it's referring to, are these outcomes here. So we have 4 different ones, because if you add up 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, feel free to pause that or rewind if you feel like you need to watch it again. Now we're going into choosing different meal choices. We have a sandwich, 2 sandwiches to choose from. I'll just do two next to it. And we have 3 drink options. Sorry, we can choose milk, juice, or pop. So our sandwich, we have to choose H. Again, I'm using the first letter of the word just to help with time and space, because we know that H stands for ham and C stands for cheese. Now we have a drink choice. We can either have milk, juice, or pop if we picked ham. And if we picked cheese, again, you have the same drink choices. So milk, juice, or pop. And our outcomes, I'm just going to write our outcomes over here in blue. Ham and milk, ham and juice, ham and pop. Those are our 3 options if we were to choose a ham sandwich. If we were to choose a cheese sandwich, we can have cheese and milk, cheese and juice, and cheese and pop. And those are our 3 choices if we picked a cheese sandwich. So if we add those 3 and 3 together, we're going to get 6 total options. So we have 6 items in our sample space, our outcomes. Again, feel free to pause, rewind. I'm going to move on to the next slide. Okay, so now we're making a password. We're using the numbers 1, 2, and 3. So we have 3 numbers, 1, 2, and 3, and 2 letters to choose from. Okay, so it says list all the passwords that are 2 letters followed by a number. See up here where I have letter, number, and outcomes already rewritten out. That's going to help us with making our tree diagram. So letter, we have what letters to choose from? 2, A and B. So you can have letter A, letter B. Now as we go, remember this is where you're going to be tested if you left enough space, because we're going to have more than 6 outcomes, I'll tell you that. Now we can either have A or B. And A or B. Again, I'm going to make a little more space here. You'll see why. Now I'm going to just draw my lines connecting them to help with our outcome writing at the end. So now we can have, now we're picking a number, and we have 3 numbers to choose from. So we can either have 1, 2, or 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. Now if we write our outcomes out, I'm not going to write them all out for the sake of time. I'm just going to do like the first when we start out with A, and we'll know it will have the same amount as if we start out with B. So we have A, A1, A, A2, A3. Okay, so we have all of our double A's. Now we can, if we had A first and B second, we have A, B1, A, B2, A, B3. Those are just all the ones that start with A, so A first. But if we had B first down here, it would have the same amount. So there'd also be, looks like there's 6. So there'd also be 6 down there as well. And then since there's 6 up here, and 6 plus 6 gets you to the outcome of being 12 different ways. So that's if we had a letter, then a number. See, it gave us an example up here for our password. Now on the next one here, it says list all the passwords that follow the pattern letter, number, letter. So last time it was letter, letter, number, but now we're doing letter, number, letter. So again, the same letters. Since it's the same question, it's just different order. So we have A or B. Now we have a number. Okay, so we could pick 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I could have A or B because it's back to letter again. We only have 2 letter options. This is where you might be, see how I'm kind of starting to run out of room here. For the sake of time, I'm only just gonna, because we got some good practice with it on this slide, I'm not gonna finish the table. I want you guys to finish it. But again, so if we write out our outcomes, we have A1A, A2A, or A1B, A2B, A3A, A3B. And those are all of our different ways if we had picked A first again. Remember how it's going to have the same amount as if we picked B first down here. So there's 6 up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But that means there's also going to be 6 options down here if we started with B. And 6 plus 6 again is going to get you to 12. So again, if you notice that order of how we picked letter, number, then letter versus letter, letter, then number gets you the same amount of outcomes. And just remember, when you go to do your homework assignment, make sure you complete that. And there's also your homework quiz on Schoology. And again, there should be a video on there should be completed notes, not with the video, and there's an answer key as well.